Tensions continue to run high in New York City as the city prepares to say goodbye to NYPD officer Wenjin Liu, who was shot and killed along with his partner, Officer Rafael Ramos, in an ambush in Brooklyn on December 20th. The funeral for Ramos was last weekend. Now Commissioner Bill Bratton is urging officers not to turn their backs Sunday during Liu's funeral. Bratton says he wants officers to show respect. He also said a hero's funeral is about grieving, not about grievance. We've talked a lot about this rift in the last few weeks. I'm looking for solutions on how to mend that rift. And Scott, I'll start with you. If you were giving advice to either the mayor or the police unions, what would you say?
Well, I think they had a first step in meeting together. I really believe that's important. He's got to go to them. They've got to sit down and talk through some of the issues, the real serious issues, and stop the fighting back and forth and the shooting at each other. And that's what a leader does. And I give credit to De Blasio. He did it. Now, after 2 hours, we don't know what happened. Most folks say nothing much. So you have to go back in there. There has to be a rapport. It's never going to be kisses and hugs, but there has to be a rapport, I think, there. And as a leader, the mayor has got to meet with them and talk with them.
Bill?
Don't make it worse. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to have a great relationship. I mean, don't make it worse. And I think the meeting was, made a lot of sense from the mayor's point of view. I think the police union has to stay tough. Lynch is out there being tough. He's got to protect his own constituents. Just don't make it worse at this point. I also think it's a great opportunity for a Democrat to start making inroads for a primary within the city and talking to cops and to moderate voters.
Assemblywoman, what would your advice be?
Well, I think one of the things I find most troubling is this sort of either or. We either talk about police officers and respect and protecting them, or we talk about the protest. And Eric Adams, the borough president of Brooklyn, former captain at NYPD and former senator, I thought had an excellent column in the Daily News about we have to continue to talk about both things. I think the meeting was a good first step, but I think both the union and the protest community has to recognize that these two things are not mutually exclusive, and we actually need to talk about them both. But we can't take the legitimate concerns of communities of color and say they are not to be discussed anymore ever again because 2 police officers were murdered, which was the most outrageous thing. Both things need to be discussed.
There's also a real potential, Dominic, for tensions to get heated up again. After Congressman Michael Grimm resigns on Monday, if the Republican Party chooses Dan Donovan, the DA in Staten Island, as the Republican nominee for that congressional seat, what do you think the impact on the city and on the tensions in the city might be? He, of course, the DA in the Garner case.
Donovan ran for Attorney General on the Republican side before. He's a good man, and he's a solid candidate. There are tensions as it relates to the non-jury indictment that came out of Garner. The mayor's got to extend an olive branch to the police unions. He doesn't want to appear weak by apologizing, and I don't think he's the type that's ever going to apologize, especially in a police-related situation. But, for example, it's all about perception and symbols when you're the mayor of New York. I don't know if it was a good idea to reappoint the judge that he did, the judge that gave bail to the men that posted on Facebook that horrible, disgusting thing of showing a man holding a gun outside right after police officers have been killed, saying the 7-3 is next. So the mayor reappoints this judge, Judge Johnson, and then what does he do? He puts the judge right behind him at his City Hall news conference. I know his advisors were about to pull their hair out. It's almost like the mayor was saying, I don't care what you write, I'm doing what I want to do anyway. So he's got to extend an olive branch. I talked to people, I was there at the meeting outside, and it seemed like it was colder inside that meeting than the frigid temperature that was outside.
Would love to keep going on this. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Scott, Assemblywoman Mayor, Bill, Dominic, thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's an honor. And we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a look at news making headlines in the Hudson Valley. Stay with us.